The evening sky over the city was painted in orange and purple light. Expensive cars moved on the clean road outside the glass towers. On one side of the street stood a tall mansion, its gates guarded by silent machines. This was the home of the Reynards, one of the richest families in the country. Inside the mansion, wealth shined everywhere. Crystal walls, golden statues, and servants walking like shadows. Mrs. Eleanor Reynard stood by the wide window of her drawing room. Her eyes, sharp yet tired, searched the busy street outside. For years her heart carried a hole that money could not fill. That hole was her daughter, gone, taken, vanished. Years ago, their only child disappeared without a trace. Detectives, satellites, drones, even private armies searched every corner of the world. Nothing was found. No kidnappers, no ransom, no goodbye, only silence. That silence lived inside her chest like a cold stone, and then something strange happened that evening. Her eyes froze on one figure walking slowly down the street. A young woman in a plain dress, hair loose, face calm. The world seemed to pause. Mrs. Reynard's lips parted as if she had seen a ghost. Her hands pressed against the glass. Her voice broke into a whisper. She looks like our lost daughter. She blinked fast, afraid her eyes were lying. But no. Every movement, every step, every line of the girl's face screamed truth. The same eyes. The same smile. The same way she held her hands close to her chest when nervous. It was impossible. It was unbelievable. But it was also real. At that moment, Mr. Victor Reynard entered the room. He was tall, dressed in a black suit, his hair touched with silver. He noticed his wife's trembling hands. "What is it, Eleanor?" he asked, her voice shook. Look outside. Tell me if I'm mad." He followed her gaze. His eyes narrowed as they fell on the girl. For a long second, even the hard millionaire could not speak. His throat went dry. Memories rushed back. His daughter's laughter, her tiny hands holding his finger, her voice calling him Papa. All those memories stabbed him again, but now with a question. Was she back? Victor's chest rose heavily. "No, it cannot be," he whispered. But deep inside, he felt the same pull. The girl did not only look like their daughter, she was their daughter. And yet how? Where had she been all these years? Why now? They watched in silence as the girl stopped near a food stall. She pulled out a few coins, too few for this rich area, and bought a piece of bread. She ate carefully, like someone who had known hunger for too long. Her clothes were clean but old. Her shoes were worn out. She looked like she did not belong to this glittering city. She looked like she had walked miles from another world. Eleanor's heart thudded loudly. "Victor, do you see? That is her. That is our child." Victor placed a strong hand on his wife's shoulder, trying to calm her storm, but his own eyes refused to turn away. He had seen many faces in his business life. Faces that lied, faces that tricked, faces that played games. But this face carried innocence. This was no trick. The girl looked up for a brief moment. Her eyes scanned the tall houses, the glowing lights, and then, almost by accident, her gaze met the window where the Reynards stood. Time stopped. Her eyes widened, as if something inside her recognized the watchers. She did not smile. She did not wave. She only stared, frozen like a deer caught in bright light. Eleanor gasped. "She sees us. She knows us!" But just then the girl broke the gaze and hurried away. She turned into a side street, vanishing like smoke. Eleanor's nails dug into her husband's arm. "We cannot lose her again." Not again. Victor's face turned to stone. He called the AI assistant of the mansion with a voice command. A soft mechanical tone replied, "Yes, Mr. Reynard?" "Track the girl. The one who just turned left on Oak Street. Find her. I want every camera, every drone, every sensor on her." "Tracking in progress," the AI said. But even the advanced system reported confusion. The girl's image appeared on the screen for a few seconds, then flickered, then disappeared. Street cameras lost her. Drones searched but found nothing. It was as if the girl knew how to vanish into thin air. Victor clenched his fists. This is no ordinary girl. Eleanor's eyes filled with tears, but also hope. Even if she hides, she is here, alive. "Victor, don't you feel it?" "She is ours. She is our daughter." Victor did not reply. His mind was racing, but his heart was burning. The mystery was too deep to ignore. A girl who looked exactly like their lost child, appearing after years and disappearing like mist when followed. No common thief, no street wanderer. This was something else. Something bigger. He turned to his wife. His voice was low but full of fire. We will bring her here, and we will learn the truth, whatever it costs." Eleanor's eyes shone with a dangerous hope. For the first time in years she felt alive again, but neither of them knew. The truth waiting behind that girl was darker, stranger, and far beyond human imagination. The night was quiet around the Reynard mansion, but inside the air was heavy with restless energy. Eleanor Reynard could not sleep. She sat on the edge of her bed, her fingers clutching the bedsheet, her eyes red from both hope and fear. The vision of the girl on the street kept replaying in her mind. The same face, the same smile, the same spark in the eyes. It was impossible to forget. Victor, her husband, stood by the balcony. He smoked in silence, the glow of his cigar flashing in the dark. He had not spoken much since the girl disappeared from the cameras, but his mind was working like a machine. He was a man who solved problems with money, with power, with technology. Yet tonight he faced something no money could buy. Finally, Eleanor broke the silence. "Victor, I want her here. I don't care if she remembers us or not. I want to see her with my own eyes." Victor exhaled a long breath. "If she is truly our daughter, she will not vanish again. If she is not—" He paused, his eyes cold. "Then we must know who or what she is." The next morning, Victor set his plan in motion. No direct chase, no questions on the street. That would make the girl run. Instead, he prepared an invitation, a gentle trap. He sent one of his assistants, a young woman dressed in plain clothes, to find the girl. The excuse was simple: a charity program to help poor and struggling citizens. The Reynard Foundation often gave out food, clothes, and small jobs. The girl would not suspect. Hours later, the assistant returned with news. She had found the girl near the old market. The girl had accepted the offer shyly with a faint smile. She had agreed to visit the mansion the next evening. When Eleanor heard this, her heart almost stopped. She covered her mouth, tears running freely. After so many years, the walls of the mansion would finally see a shadow that felt like their daughter's. The evening came. The grand gates of the mansion opened slowly. The girl stepped inside, her steps cautious, her eyes wide. She wore the same simple dress, but her hair was brushed neatly this time. She carried no bag, no phone, no jewelry, nothing but herself. The mansion towered above her like a palace from another world. The marble floors reflected the golden lights of the chandeliers. Walls of glass revealed gardens glowing with robotic fireflies. Servants bowed quietly as she walked past. To the girl, it was like stepping into a dream, or perhaps into a trap. Eleanor stood at the bottom of the wide staircase. Her hands trembled as she looked at the girl. Every part of her wanted to scream, "My daughter," and run forward, but she forced herself to stay still. She did not want to frighten the girl. Victor, however, studied her with sharp, measuring eyes. He walked closer, his voice calm, smooth, controlled. "Welcome. Thank you for coming. You must be hungry. You must be tired. Tonight you are safe here." The girl gave a small nod. "Thank you, sir." Her voice was soft, almost musical. It struck Eleanor like lightning. It was the same voice she remembered, yet not fully the same. As the girl was led into the dining hall, something strange happened. The mansion's AI system, which controlled everything from the lights to the doors, suddenly flickered. The smart glass walls turned blue for a second. Doors unlocked themselves. A soft female voice came from the speakers. "Access granted." "Welcome home," Victor froze. Eleanor gasped. The girl looked confused. I didn't do anything," she whispered. Victor forced a smile to cover his shock. "It must be a system error," he said quickly. But inside, his mind was burning. The mansion's AI recognized only two people with that phrase: himself and his lost daughter. Yet the girl had triggered it without even touching anything. They sat at the long table. Food was served: fresh bread, roasted meat, glowing fruit from hydro farms. The girl ate carefully, like someone who was not used to such meals. Eleanor could not stop staring at her. Every bite, every movement reminded her of the child she had lost. Finally, Eleanor spoke, her voice shaking. "What is your name, dear?" The girl looked up slowly. "My name is Alina." Eleanor's heart skipped. That had been their daughter's name. The very same. Victor leaned forward. "Alina, do you remember anything about your family?" The girl lowered her eyes. "No, I only remember strange dreams. A bright light. Voices calling me. But I don't know who I am. I don't know where I came from." The room fell silent. Eleanor's hand reached across the table, trembling, but the girl pulled back slightly, nervous. Victor covered his wife's hand with his own. He did not want to push too hard, not yet. But his eyes were colder than ever. Inside his head he repeated one thought. If she is Alina, then where has she been? If she is not, then who is she pretending to be? Upstairs, hidden scanners were already working. Invisible rays passed over the girl's skin, collecting samples, running secret tests. On Victor's private tablet, results began to appear. DNA patterns, matches, numbers. The screen flickered. 95% match with their daughter, but something else was there. A strange code in her blood, one that did not belong to any human database. Victor's heart sank. Eleanor's heart soared. The same truth cut them in two directions, and Alina, sitting between them, felt the weight of eyes, of questions, of memories she could not hold. She did not know why the mansion's doors opened for her, why her name slipped from her lips so easily, why these strangers looked at her with love and fear. But she felt one thing clearly. This was only the beginning. The night after Alina entered the mansion, silence spread like a shadow across the Reynard estate. Eleanor had finally fallen asleep in her room, her face wet with tears of hope. But Victor did not sleep. He sat alone in his private study, staring at the glowing tablet on his desk. Numbers, codes, and red lines filled the screen. The secret scanners in the mansion had completed their work. The results were shocking. Alina's DNA was almost a perfect match with their missing daughter. 95%. The bone structure, the hair, the blood, all of it confirmed who she should be. And yet there was something else, hidden in the remaining 5%. A code that did not belong to any human, a sequence of patterns no scientist on Earth had ever recorded. Victor's chest tightened. He was a man who believed in facts, not miracles. If the girl was Alina, why was her blood whispering something alien? He leaned back in his chair, his jaw tense. His heart wanted to believe she was his daughter, but his brain screamed caution. Something was wrong. Something dangerous. The next morning, Alina was invited to the mansion's garden. The sunlight fell on the glass fountains, on flowers grown in silver pots, on machines disguised as birds. She looked around with wide eyes like a child entering a fairy tale. Eleanor walked beside her, talking gently, pointing to each flower as if Alina were still that little girl she had lost. But Victor watched from a distance. He was not ready to call her his daughter. Not yet. He wanted proof. He wanted the truth. Later that day, he called her into a small room. The walls were lined with old photographs, family portraits, paintings, memories. Alina looked at them with curiosity. "Do you remember anything?" Victor asked. His tone was calm but sharp like a knife. Alina's eyes moved from picture to picture. She shook her head. I don't know these faces. I don't know this house." Victor walked closer. He pointed to one picture. A little girl with a bright smile sitting on Eleanor's lap. "This is Alina Reynard. Do you recognize her?" Alina stared. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came. Something stirred in her chest like a memory locked behind heavy doors. She pressed her hand to her head. A flash of light burned in her mind, bright, blinding, painful. Voices echoed, but they were not her parents' voices. They were strange, layered, almost metallic. I see light. I see hands around me. But not these hands," she whispered. Victor's eyes narrowed. He decided to test her further. He brought out a music box, small and golden. It had belonged to their daughter. He opened it, and a soft tune filled the room. A lullaby. Eleanor used to sing it every night before sleep. Alina froze. Her eyes widened. Her body trembled as if the melody unlocked something deep inside her. Tears filled her eyes without reason. She did not know why she was crying. Eleanor, who had quietly entered the room, gasped. "She remembers. Look at her, Victor. She remembers." But Victor was not convinced. He saw the tears, yes, but he also saw fear. Not the fear of remembering a childhood. Fear of something else. Something darker. He dismissed Eleanor gently and asked Alina to sit with him. His voice softened, but his eyes stayed sharp. "Tell me, child, what do you dream of at night?" Alina hesitated. She looked down at her hands. Her voice came slow, almost broken. "I dream of places I have never seen. A sky full of strange lights. A sea that glows like fire. I hear voices calling me chosen. I see machines tall as towers bending over me. And then pain. Always pain." Victor's heart skipped. He leaned forward. "Who are these voices? What do they want from you?" Alina shook her head. I don't know. But sometimes, I feel like I am not fully human. The room fell silent. Victor stood and walked to the window. His hands tightened behind his back. His wife believed this girl was their daughter, returned by fate. But Victor could no longer ignore the truth. If she was their Alina, she was not only Alina. Something had touched her, changed her, remade her. That night, Victor called his most trusted scientist, Dr. Keller, to the mansion. The doctor was an old man with sharp glasses and a mind full of secrets. Victor showed him the DNA results. Dr. Keller's face turned pale. This code, I have seen something like this once years ago. Not in humans, not in animals. It was from a fragment of something that fell from the sky. Victor's breath caught. You mean alien? Dr. Keller nodded slowly. If this girl carries such code, then she has been touched by a force not of this earth. Victor dismissed him with a heavy heart. He knew Eleanor could never hear this. Her hope would shatter, but he also knew the truth could not stay hidden forever. Meanwhile, Alina stood by the mansion's lake, staring at her reflection. She touched the water lightly. For a moment, the surface glowed under her hand like it knew her touch. She pulled back, frightened. She whispered to herself, "Who am I?" And in the still air, a voice answered, not from her, not from the mansion, but from deep inside her mind. "You are more than human." "You are ours," Alina gasped. She looked around, but no one was there. Only the calm water, only the echo of a secret she did not want to hear. The following days inside the Reynard mansion were heavy with tension. Eleanor treated Alina like fragile glass, smiling, feeding, asking small questions, showing her clothes and toys from childhood. She believed with all her heart that her daughter had returned, but Victor lived with doubt. His wife's joy felt like sunlight, yet his mind remained dark. The DNA test haunted him. 95% human, 5% unknown. He could not bury that truth, and every time he looked into Alina's eyes, he saw not only love, but also something distant, something that did not belong to Earth. One evening, as the rain poured outside and thunder echoed, Victor decided to confront Alina directly. He led her to the library, a massive room filled with old books, glowing screens, and hidden sensors. The fire in the fireplace cracked loudly, the only warmth in the room. "Alina," Victor said, his voice deep and steady, "I need you to tell me what you truly remember. Not dreams, not guesses. The truth." Alina looked at him nervously. Her fingers twisted together. "I told you. I don't know. Only flashes." Victor pressed a button on the table. A hologram rose above it, a glowing spiral of her DNA with the strange alien code highlighted in red. "Then how do you explain this?" he asked. His tone was not angry but sharp like a blade. "This code is not human. You carry it inside you. Why?" Alina's breath quickened. She stared at the strange lights above her, and then her mind broke open. Images flooded her head. She dropped to her knees, holding her temples, crying out in pain. Eleanor, hearing the noise, ran inside. "What are you doing to her, Victor?" But before he could answer, Alina spoke, her voice shaking, her eyes glowing faintly in the firelight. "I remember." The room froze. Both parents leaned closer. Alina's voice grew stronger. "When I was taken, I wasn't taken by humans. There were ships, silent, dark like shadows in the sky. I remember the light pulling me up. I remember the cold. And I remember them." "Who?" Eleanor whispered, terrified and fascinated at once. "Beings, tall, silver-skinned, eyes like black mirrors. They spoke without words. They called me the Chosen. They said I was different, that my blood carried a key. They changed me. They cut me. They merged me with something from their world." I screamed. And then I forgot. Until now. Her words shook the room. Eleanor's face turned pale, her hands covering her mouth. Victor gripped the chair tightly, his knuckles white. Alina continued, tears running down her cheeks. "They told me one day I would return, that I would be both human and more than human, that I would stand between two worlds." Eleanor dropped to her knees and hugged Alina, sobbing. "My poor child. What have they done to you?" Victor, however, did not move. His mind raced. If this was true, then his daughter had not only been kidnapped, she had been transformed into something else. Something Earth was not ready to face. That night, Alina could not sleep. She walked through the empty halls of the mansion, her steps echoing. She stopped at a mirror. For the first time, she studied her own face, not with human eyes, but with the strange awareness now burning inside her. Her reflection shifted. For a second, she saw herself not as a girl, but as something different. Her eyes glowing, her skin faintly lit with strange patterns. She gasped and stumbled back, heart pounding. Suddenly, a voice filled her head, the same metallic voice from her dreams. "You are awakening, Chosen. Soon we will come for you. You cannot run from what you are." She clutched her ears, shaking her head. "No, leave me alone." But the voice only laughed, deep and cold. The next morning, Eleanor tried to comfort her daughter, but Alina was quiet, distant. She stared at the garden flowers, yet her mind was far away. Eleanor wanted to believe love could heal everything, but she could not fight the shadows in her daughter's eyes. Victor secretly met with Dr. Keller again. "She remembers," Victor said grimly. "Aliens took her. They changed her." The old scientist adjusted his glasses, his voice low. "If that is true, then she may not belong to only you. They will come for her again, and when they do, they will not ask permission." Victor's chest tightened. He had spent a lifetime building power, money, and control. But now he faced an enemy he could not buy, bribe, or fight with simple weapons. He looked out the window at Alina, who stood silently in the garden. For the first time, he felt truly powerless. That night, Eleanor sat by Alina's bed, brushing her hair gently like she had when Alina was a child. Her voice trembled with love. "No matter what they did, you are mine. You are my daughter. Nothing can change that." Alina looked at her mother with wet eyes. "But what if I am not only yours? What if I am theirs too?" Eleanor kissed her forehead. "Then let them come. I will fight the universe itself for you." But as she spoke, Alina felt it again, that quiet pull in her blood, that strange hum in the air. The aliens had not forgotten her. And now that her memories were back, she knew the truth. They were coming. The mansion stood silent under the silver moonlight. The air was heavy, almost weighting. For days, Alina had grown restless. Every night she woke from dreams filled with flashing lights and strange whispers. Every morning, Eleanor tried to calm her, holding her hand, singing soft lullabies as if she were still a child. But Victor knew better. He felt the shift in the air, the tension in the world outside. Something was coming, and it was coming for his daughter. One evening, the ground shook. At first, it felt like a small tremor, but then the mansion's windows rattled. The lights flickered, and the AI security system blared an alarm. "Unidentified objects entering restricted airspace," the AI reported. Victor rushed to the balcony, his eyes scanning the sky. His heart froze. Above the city, 3 shapes glided silently through the clouds. They were not airplanes, not drones. They were something else. Sleek silver crafts with glowing lines moving without sound. Eleanor ran to his side. "Victor, are those—" "Yes," he said through clenched teeth. "They're here." Alina stood behind them, her face pale. But deep inside, she already knew. Her blood hummed with recognition. "They've come for me." The ship stopped above the mansion, hovering like predators. A beam of light shot down into the garden, and from it stepped 3 figures, tall, silver-skinned beings with long limbs and black mirror-like eyes. Their presence was silent but powerful, as if the air bent around them. Eleanor clutched Alina's hand tightly. "Stay behind me." But one of the beings raised a hand. His voice was not spoken, but heard inside their minds. "She is ours. She was chosen long ago. Give her to us." Victor stepped forward, his anger burning. "She is my daughter. You took her once. You will not take her again." The alien tilted his head, his dark eyes unreadable. "You misunderstand. She is not only your daughter. She is the key to what will come. Without her, your world will fall. With us, she will rise," Eleanor shouted, her voice breaking. "She belongs here. She belongs with her family." The alien's voice grew sharper, echoing in every corner of the mansion. "Her blood is no longer only human. You cannot change what she is. You cannot keep her from us." The standoff thickened. The AI security system activated defense drones, small machines rising from hidden panels in the ground. Red lasers aimed at the intruders. Victor's voice thundered. "Leave now, or you will face the full power of this house." The aliens did not flinch. The leader spread his long fingers. The drones sparked, shut down, and fell like dead birds. The aliens hadn't even moved. Their power was far beyond anything human. Victor's fists clenched. For the first time in years, he felt fear. Not of losing his wealth, not of losing his power, but of losing the child he had just found again. He turned to Alina. You do not belong to them. You are mine. You are Eleanor's. You are family. But Alina's voice shook. Papa, I hear them inside me. They call me. A part of me wants to go with them. A part of me doesn't know who I am. Eleanor pulled her close. You are ours. Whatever they did, you are still our Alina. The alien leader's eyes glowed faintly. She must choose. But know this. If she refuses us, your world will suffer. If she accepts us, she will leave you forever. Alina's heart pounded. Her mind burned with images. Flashes of stars, strange cities, machines taller than mountains. She saw herself standing among the aliens, powerful and radiant. But she also saw her mother's tears, her father's determination, the warm home she had once known. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I don't want to lose you, but I don't want to lose myself either. The aliens moved closer. The ground beneath them glowed. The mansion's walls shook. Victor stepped forward, placing himself between them and his daughter. If you want her, you will have to go through me. The alien leader raised his hand. A force pushed Victor back, slamming him against the wall. Eleanor screamed, running to him. Alina cried out, "Stop!" Her voice echoed unnaturally, and for a moment even the aliens froze. A bright light burst from her body, wrapping the garden in a strange glow. The plants shimmered, the machines buzzed, the very air vibrated. The aliens looked at her with silent approval. She awakens. Her power grows. Victor struggled to stand, pain in his chest but fire in his eyes. No matter what she is, she will never be yours. The leader's voice was cold. Then prepare for war. The ships above the mansion began to glow. Energy pulsed through the beams. The sky darkened as if the stars themselves were watching. Eleanor pulled Alina close. Don't listen to them. You are my daughter. My Alina. Nothing else matters. But Alina knew the choice was coming. She could not hide forever. She would have to decide, belong to her human family, or step into the destiny the aliens had forced upon her, and either choice would change the world. The mansion shook as if the earth itself wanted to break apart. The alien ships floated above, glowing brighter with each second. Their beams lit the gardens in silver fire. Inside the house, walls cracked, glass shattered, and the AI screamed warnings no human could follow. Eleanor held Alina tightly, tears streaming down her face. Stay with me, my child. Don't let them take you. Victor stood beside them, his suit torn, blood on his forehead. He had faced billion-dollar rivals, hostile armies, even death threats, but never an enemy like this. Yet his voice was steady, his spirit unbroken. Alina, listen to me. You have a choice. You are not theirs. You are ours. The alien leader stepped forward, his mirror-black eyes glowing with strange light. His voice echoed inside every mind. No, she was marked long ago. She carries our blood, our code. She is the bridge between your world and ours. She cannot stay with you. If she does, your planet will suffer. Alina's body trembled. She could feel their pull inside her veins like invisible chains tugging her toward the silver beings. At the same time, her heart pounded for the woman crying beside her, for the man who stood ready to fight even though he could not win. Her voice cracked. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I belong. The alien leader raised his long hand. The ground split open. Fire leapt from the cracks. You must choose. With us you will rule among the stars. With them you will die when this world falls. Eleanor screamed, Don't listen. You are my daughter. You are Alina Reynard. You are love, not their weapon. Victor's voice thundered like steel. They can take the sky. They can take the earth. But they will never take you, not while I breathe. The air grew heavy. Alina fell to her knees, clutching her head. Flashes filled her mind. Bright lights, alien machines, needles piercing her skin. She saw herself flying among stars, burning with strange power. Then the images changed. Her mother's arms around her, her father teaching her to walk. Laughter echoing through a forgotten home. Her tears fell to the ground. I can't be both. I must choose. Suddenly her body began to glow. A white light shone from her hands, brighter and brighter until the aliens shielded their eyes. Eleanor stepped back, afraid yet unable to let go. Victor held his ground, staring at his daughter with awe. Alina's voice grew louder, filled with something more than human. I am not yours. I am not only yours. I am me, and I choose my family. The alien leader roared in silence. The ships above thundered with energy, preparing to strike. Bolts of blue fire shot down, burning the gardens. Trees exploded, stone cracked, machines fell apart. Victor pushed Eleanor behind him, spreading his arms as if his own body could shield them. "Stay back," he shouted, though his eyes knew death was close. But Alina stepped forward. She raised her glowing hands toward the sky. The beams of fire bent, twisting in midair, then burst apart like shattered glass. The aliens staggered, their black eyes reflecting fear for the first time. Her voice thundered across the mansion. "You will not take me. You will not harm them." A shockwave of light exploded from her body, racing across the grounds. The air rippled, and the aliens stumbled backward as if struck by invisible fists. Their leader hissed, his voice sharp and bitter. "You betray what you are. Without us, you are nothing." Alina's eyes blazed. "Without them, I am nothing. They gave me love. You gave me pain. I will never belong to you." The aliens regrouped. Their ships charged again, brighter than before. This was no longer persuasion, it was war. Victor grabbed Eleanor's hand, pulling her toward the house. "We must get inside." But Alina remained in the garden, standing tall. The glow around her grew until her whole body was wrapped in light, like a star walking the earth. Her voice was calm but fierce. "No, this ends here." She raised her arms, and from her chest burst a wave of energy so strong it cracked the ground. The ships trembled. The sky itself seemed to shake. The alien leader cried out in rage, his body flickering like smoke. The other aliens fell back, their forms breaking apart in the storm of power. Eleanor screamed, "Alina!
Stop! You'll kill yourself!"
But Alina only smiled softly at her mother. "If I must burn, I burn for you." For a long moment, light swallowed everything. The garden, the house, the sky. Nothing remained but blinding white. The aliens screamed, their voices fading into silence. Then slowly the light began to fade. Victor opened his eyes. The ships were gone. The aliens had vanished. Only the broken garden remained, smoking and silent. And in the center of it all, Alina collapsed. Eleanor rushed forward, falling to her knees beside her. "No, Alina, open your eyes." Victor knelt too, holding both of them. His heart pounded, his face pale. Alina's chest barely moved. Her glow faded, her body weak, almost lifeless. She whispered, her voice faint. "I chose you." Then her eyes closed. The night fell silent once more. The war was over, but the price had been heavy. The Reynards held their daughter in their arms, unsure if she would ever wake again. Above them, the stars shone coldly, as if watching the choice that had shaken both earth and the sky. The garden lay in ruins. The marble paths were cracked, trees reduced to ash, fountains shattered into pieces. The once proud mansion stood wounded, its walls blackened, its windows broken. Yet none of it mattered to Eleanor or Victor. Their entire world was lying limp in their arms. Alina. Her face was pale, her body weak, her glow almost gone. Eleanor cradled her like a child, rocking her back and forth, her tears falling on Alina's cheeks. "Please, please, my darling. Don't leave me again. I just found you. I can't lose you." Victor's voice broke, heavy with pain he could no longer hide. "Stay with us, Alina, stay." For a long moment, there was no response. The mansion AI repeated, "Life signs critical, immediate medical assistance required." But no machines, no money, no power could repair the light fading inside her. Then a soft whisper. Her lips moved. "Mama and Papa." Eleanor leaned close, her heart racing. "Yes, my love. I'm here. I am so tired," Alina whispered. "I gave everything. I don't know if I can stay." Victor gripped her hand tightly. "You will stay, you must. You are stronger than them, stronger than anything." Her eyes opened slightly, shimmering with tears. "I was afraid I wasn't human, that I didn't belong. But now I know. I was always yours. That is enough." Her chest rose once more, and then stilled. Eleanor let out a scream that tore through the night. She shook her daughter's body, begging, crying, pleading. "No, no, please. Not again. Not again." Victor wrapped his arms around both of them, his face pressed against their daughter's hair. For the first time in his life, the man who had never bowed to anyone broke. His shoulders shook with silent sobs, and then something impossible happened. Alina's body began to glow again. At first it was faint, a small flicker, then brighter, stronger, until her entire form was wrapped in golden white light. Eleanor gasped, pulling back in shock. Victor shielded his eyes. The air filled with a humming sound, deep and powerful. The ground trembled not with destruction but with renewal. The broken trees sprouted fresh leaves. The cracked marble sealed itself. The ruined fountains began to flow again, clearer than before, and at the center of it all, Alina rose, her body lifted from the ground, glowing like a star. Her eyes opened, shining brighter than the sun. For a moment she was not flesh and blood, but pure energy, pure life. Eleanor reached out, afraid and awed at the same time. "Alina," she whispered. The light softened. Slowly the glow faded, leaving her standing there, alive. Her chest rose and fell with steady breath, but she looked different. Her skin no longer carried the faint alien patterns. Her eyes, though bright, were fully human. She collapsed into her mother's arms once again, but this time, warm and alive. Eleanor wept with joy. "You're back. Oh God, you're back." Victor looked at her in disbelief. "What happened?" Alina's voice was weak but calm. "The alien part of me, it's gone. When I fought them, I burned it away. I thought it would kill me, but it freed me. I am only human now." The family held each other under the broken sky. For the first time in years, they were whole. But the silence did not last long. A faint sound echoed from above. Not ships, not weapons, but a voice. Soft, distant, carried by the wind. "This is not the end. She chose you today, but the stars will call her again. When they do, you cannot stop it." The voice faded, leaving only the night. Victor's jaw tightened. "Let them come again. Next time we will be ready." Eleanor kissed her daughter's forehead. "You are ours, always ours." Alina looked at the stars above. She no longer felt the chains pulling at her blood. But deep inside she knew the voice was right. This was not the end of her story. It was only the beginning. The dawn broke, painting the sky in gold. Workers rushed to repair the mansion. Reporters gathered outside the gates, sensing something had happened. But the world would never know the truth, not yet. Inside, the Reynard family sat together. No titles, no wealth, no secrets. Just a mother, a father, and their daughter. Reunited not by blood alone, but by choice, by sacrifice, by love. Alina smiled softly. "I thought I was lost forever. But you found me. You brought me back." Eleanor held her close. "We never stopped searching. Even when the world told us to forget, we never gave up. And now I will never let you go again." Victor placed a firm hand on Alina's shoulder. His voice was steady, strong. "Whatever you are, wherever you came from, you are our daughter. That is the only truth that matters." Alina closed her eyes, resting her head on her mother's shoulder. For the first time, peace filled her heart. She was no longer the chosen of strangers. She was simply Alina Reynard, daughter, family, loved, but far beyond the skies. In the cold silence of space, silver eyes watched. Plans were already forming. The war was not over. The universe had not forgotten her. The camera of fate zoomed out, showing Earth below, fragile yet bright. The story had ended here. But another was waiting to begin.